With a budget of more than 37,000 crores a year, Mumbai's municipal corporation, the BMC, has more money than some small countries, and yet it has failed to deliver on some of the most basic civic issues facing the city. Today, the people of Mumbai voted in the BMC elections. The results are this Thursday, but this time, open fighting between the Shiv Sena and the BJP, who have been allies, overtook the headlines. Now, we're still awaiting for the official voter turnout figures, but some reports have suggested they may have crossed 50%, which, if true, would be the highest voter turnout in the BMC poll, at least over the last 3 elections.
The Thackeray family putting up a show of confidence on polling day. After a bitter split with their decades-old ally, the BJP, could the Sena still come out on top in the Brihan Mumbai corporation?
मी तमाम मतदारांना धन्यवाद देतो आहे आणि त्यांच्याकडनं ज्या उत्साहामध्ये मतदान होतंय मला नक्कीच खात्री आहे आशीर्वाद मिळाल्याशिवाय राहणार नाही.
But that's the thing about the BMC polls. It rarely sees voter turnouts go beyond 50%. Even during the Modi wave in 2014, the turnout was just 55%, while the civic polls have seen a turnout of 44%. Which is why the major task for those pushing for change is to get people out.
सर्व जनतेला माझं आव्हान आहे सर्वांनी मतदानाला गेलं पाहिजे.
Some of Mumbai's most beautiful people, from sporting legends to cinema icons, and the big business heads giving perspective to voting patterns.
No, demonetization has nothing to do with this. Demonetization is over.
It's not very unusual on voting day to find some voters complaining that they can't find their names or the details on voter lists. But in this election, there have been several complaints that are emerging from areas like Kondivali and also from other areas like Ghatkopar. Enough complaints for authorities to have taken note and some MLAs to suggest that this omission or any kind of voters' names not appearing is a deliberate and purposeful attempt to block out some votes.
My name has unfortunately not shown up in the list. I want to go and find out where my name is from the election commission.
Mumbai is the richest municipality in the country, but at stake in Maharashtra are 10 other municipalities voting today. This is the first local poll that the BJP and Shiv Sena are fighting separately in decades. Now, after their split, a win or a loss for either could change the way India's richest state is governed. With camera person Rajendra and Sunetra Chaudhary, Namata Mittal, NDTV.
Well, joining us tonight on that big political story, Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Congress Party, Shaina NC of the BJP, Mr. Bharat Kumar Raut, former Sena MP and now commentator, Nikhil Wagle, author and political analyst, Anubhav Pal, playwright and stand-up comedian, and Bharat Dabholkar, who's of course a well-known playwright and director. Thank you to you all for coming in tonight. Let me ask you first, Mr. Wagle, on how crucial this election is, because you had the BMC election on one hand, but we've also seen that there were elections to other civic bodies, Nagpur, Thane, Pune, Nasik, etc. And it's being described as a mini assembly election in Maharashtra. Is that what it is, or are we reading too much into its importance?
No, I don't think this is mini assembly election. We are reading too much in it, and this is typical television terminology. But this is an important election because if you go by the urbanization, now Maharashtra is more than 60% urbanized. And if you go by this urbanization, all these 10 municipal corporations are very important. Mumbai is one of the largest municipal corporations in India. We have a budget of 37,000 crores. So you can count all these things, and Mumbai is the financial capital of India also. We have election in Pune, Nagpur, other big cities of Maharashtra. So this entire process is very important politically, economically, and it will have long-term effect on the politics and economics of the state.
I'm going to get into that in more detail with you in just a moment, and I want to first look at these turnout figures, and we're waiting for official figures which should come out in the next half an hour or so. But indications and reports are, Bharat Dabholkar, that there may be a record turnout this time in Mumbai, more than 50%, and often the criticism has been that the people of Mumbai don't come out and vote and criticize the government or the BMC but don't actually take a stand. Are you happy with this turnout if it indeed is 52%?
No, I think,
or should it have been more?
It's a very shameful thing that we have to be happy with the thing that we are bigger than the past 3 elections. We should have been, when other smaller states where the less educated people go up to 65%, 70%, that Mumbai continuously goes either below 50 or little above 50 is a very shameful thing. I think we are supposed to be the financial capital. We have educated people here. We have people who are aware of the importance of every election. And this kind of a turnout, 50% or 52%, is, I think, very shameful.
Why do you think it happens again and again?
We can gloat about that we are higher than the earlier three. That's no indication.
I think that's a good point. But why do you think it keeps happening in Mumbai? I mean, why this
I think Mumbai
dismal
people
turnout?
are very lethargic. They are not concerned with these issues. They may be cynical. They feel that all parties are equally bad, which is not a correct thing to do in a democracy. You have to go out and vote. But I think people get into a thing of it makes no difference to me. Everybody is the same. Whether this party comes or that party comes, what difference does it make to my life? That's the wrong attitude to have, because your vote is very important, and otherwise you don't believe in democracy.
And yet, Anuvab, when the monsoon comes, it is, those guys who didn't go out and vote will be the first to complain about the potholes and curse the BMC for not doing its job. And therefore, do you agree with Bharat here that it's not good enough? 52%, if it is that, is not good enough?
I do agree with Bharat. I think this is an election that should have 100% turnout, because there's no shortage of us complaining about problems, right? We complain about road problem, garbage problems. But if you look at this year's elections, you look at both the parties, full page ads, everyone for the first time is fighting on a development agenda, right? They're not saying this person is a thief, UP is the problem, Pakistanis are the problem. No, they're fighting on a development agenda. We'll give you roads, we'll give you infrastructure, and that's really heartening to see, right? But the average public, I myself included, we're all ready to complain, right? The politicians are all thieves, etc. But ask any of us, ask middle class, upper middle class India, what ward do you live in? Who is the municipal person in charge? Where is your water supply come from? We don't know, but we'll complain. So I think that in a democracy, your vote is your right. So I think we have no right to complain if we don't vote.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, let me get the parties in on this. Would the Congress have also been happier to see a larger turnout? There has been an attempt to try and get more voter awareness in for a while now, and yet something just seems to hold people back.
Absolutely, and it's not just about being a representative of a political party. As an active member of Mumbai, I would have hoped to see a bigger voter turnout, and it doesn't, I quite agree with what Mr. Davolkar is saying here, that we shouldn't be comparing it with the past 3 elections and breaking those records. We should be talking about when we go on social media, we go on various sites and we face this kind of inconvenience, and a complaint is 100%. Why is it that when we come to vote, we are reduced to a 50% vote? So if we are denying ourselves that right to vote, we are also denying ourselves the right to complain. So it comes out to be something that you deserve a government that you vote for. If you're not voting, perhaps you deserve the candidates that have been voted into power. Absolutely. And considering local elections are the first point of interaction, first point of interface between a citizen and government machinery, it becomes all the more important. So it is a little saddening, but also positive trend that people are now, however little the improvement is, people have come forward to vote. A decisive voting, people coming out to vote would have impacted the election result, but I think it will just end up splitting votes into various parties and probably result in a hung, situation where all parties would be scampering for alliances.
Oh, well, that's interesting coming from you. And I just want to then therefore ask Mr. Bharat Kumar Raut first that on the politics that has played out in the run-up to this election, Mr. Raut, do you think that just overshadowed the civic issues? I mean, although, the other guests made the point, Anuvab made the point that all the parties had ads about development and they were talking about what they're going to do for Mumbai. But, the headlines, the stories that made it to the front page all became about the BJP Shiv Sena tie-up. So is this election more about the future of Fadnavis's government and less about the issues? How do you see it?
Exactly. The civic elections, like the national elections, Lok Sabha elections are contested on national issues. State assembly elections are supposed to be contested on state issues, and the civic elections are supposed to highlight the civic issues. But however, during this election time, right from the word go, right from 26 January when Uddhav Thackeray first time addressed the gathering of Shiv Sena people, he made it into a political issue. And from that then onwards till yesterday, it was only politics, and hardly any civic issues were discussed. Hardly they came forth. Yes, there were issues like road construction and potholes and water scarcity, this and that. But the core issues nobody touched. The issue of influx of people in the Mumbai, which is putting burden on the local amenities, which has been highlight of the campaign of Shiv Sena, of MNS, and to some extent even other parties. That also kept on the back burner and nobody touched that. So many issues which needed to be attended to attract attention, they were kept under the carpet, and only political issues. There is a reason for that. Shiv Sena and BJP, though they are fighting with each other, one thing is sure, that both had decided to occupy all the political space of Mumbai within those two parties. So now, because they were fighting so much within themselves, there was no room for the third party to come in. So Congress or NCP, those were giants at one time. MNS, which was a giant in last election, they were kept in a corner.
And it will be interesting to see who wins that tug of war.
The whole scene was like, this is the election between Shiv Sena and BJP.
So, Shaina,
and that's because they occupied all this space, perhaps they both are gaining out of it.
Well, Shaina, then isn't this alliance actually a farce? I mean, why is it still on, even at the state level? I mean, look at the names that Uddhav Thackeray has called everybody, from Devendra Fadnavis to even the Prime Minister. He called Fadnavis a liar the other day. So, I mean, what is left in this alliance?
Nidhi, the fact of the matter is that we are the single largest party in the state of Maharashtra. Our performance in the parliamentary elections, the assembly elections, more recently the municipal councils, says one thing, that the people of Maharashtra want a stable, good government that is for talking about development and has strong leadership, that is a leadership of integrity. Now, the question here vis-a-vis BMC, we've had 31 corporators in the past, and I'm sure that we will not just be the single largest party, we will have a mandate where the people hold us accountable on every aspect, hold us for a transparent government which we have promised, and also hold us responsible for the spending of the 37,000 crores. Now, for those who have constantly questioned us, I want to only say, by screaming, shouting, calling names, writing editorials, you don't really address your viewpoint to the Mumbaikar. We have never derailed from our argument, we have never derailed from our promises, and we have always said that we will stand up to every commitment made. Today, BJP is the only party that has talked about the assets of every candidate coming out in the public domain
I'm going to come to that in a second, because let's not forget that it is the BJP Sena that has controlled the BMC, not the Sena alone. I don't think the BJP can today turn around and say that everything that has gone wrong, with the civic problem in Mumbai is only the Shiv Sena's fault. But can I ask you, do you acknowledge that there will be political instability for Devendra Fadnavis if the Shiv Sena wins and decides to back off? I mean, I am asking whether you acknowledge that this is more than a civic election, Shaina. It has bigger political ramifications.
No.
It doesn't. How is that?
No, I don't accept that at all, and I don't want to reply to hypothetical questions, Nidhi, at the cost of you trying to excite me to answer them. I want to say that our leadership under Devendra Fadnavis is here to stay for a full 5-year term. And I can assure you that we will make no compromise when it comes to the people of Maharashtra and Mumbai that have given us a mandate. We're not going to put our fingers up or our hands up and say that,
it's not a hypothetical question. It's a threat by Uddhav Thackeray. It is a threat by Uddhav Thackeray to withdraw support. It's not a hypothetical question. If the Shiv Sena withdraws support, so I am asking, do you acknowledge that this election has big political implications? It's a simple question, yes or no. I'm not saying, I'm not asking you whether you think your government will fall. I'm only asking you whether you acknowledge the political implications of this.
Absolutely, because it is a verdict and a mandate of the people of Mumbai. And in that sense, every election is very important. And not just important, it is a mandate on who they have faith in.